stage 7, paragraph page 560. Okay, and our last headword was idiom 5, full stage revision. Okay, so let's start from where we ended. Let me just scroll down. 60. Okay, here we go. Let's have the first question. How would you be able to identify yourself in the street if you were stopped by the police? How would you be able to identify yourself in the street if you were stopped by the police? I'd be able to
I be
identify
able
myself
to identify
in the
myself
street if
in
I
the
were
street
stopped by the
if
police
I was stopped by the
by
police
showing them
by showing
my
them
identity card,
my identity card,
passport, etc.
passport, etc.
Very good. Do you think it's possible for foreigners to learn English so well that people would think they were English? Do you think it's possible for foreigners to learn English so well that people would think they were English? Yes, I think
Yes,
it's
I think
possible
it's possible
for foreigners
for
to
foreigners
learn English so
to
well
learn English so
that
well
people would think
that people would think
they were English.
they were
But
English,
it happens
but
very
it happened
rarely.
very
It
rarely.
often depends
It often depend
whether their own language,
where the own language,
whether their
uh,
own
whether
language
whether their own
is
language
similar to English.
is similar to English.
Very good. What do you do in the evening when it's so cold that it'd be unpleasant to go out? What do you do in the evening when it's so cold that it'd be unpleasant to go out? In the evening,
In the evening,
when it's so cold
when it's so
that
cold
it'd be
that
unpleasant
it will be
to
unpleasant
go out,
to go out,
I
I
what do you do?
I watch TV.
TV. Very good. Do I gather up my things from the table at the end of the lesson? Do I gather up my things from the table at the end of the lesson? Yes, you gather
Yes,
up
you
your
gather up
things
your
from the
things
table
from the
at the
table
end of the lesson.
at the end of the lesson.
Very good. At what time of the year do farmers gather the fruit in your part of the world? At what time of the year do farmers gather the fruit in your part of the world? Farmers gather
Farmers
the fruit
gather the fruit
in
in autumn
autumn in my part of the world.
in my part of the world.
Very good. When a man has been murdered, how do the police gather information about the murder? When a man has been murdered, how do the police gather information about the murder? When a man
When a
has
man
been murdered,
has been murdered,
the police gather
the police
information
gather
by
information
looking for clues
by looking for a clues
and talking to people
and, and talking to
who
people
knew the man.
who knew the man.
Well, on what occasions do all the members of the family gather together? On what occasions do all the members of the family gather together? All the members
All the
of
members
a family
of a family
gather together
gather
on
together
occasions such
on
as
occasions such
weddings,
as
birthday
weddings,
parties,
birthday
etc.
parties, etc.
Right? About how much does your book weigh? About how much does your book weigh? My book weighs
My book
about
weighs about about
1 pound.
hmm, one pound.
1 pound. Very good. What does it mean you can't have your cake and eat it? What does it mean you can't have your cake and eat it? The meaning of
The meaning
you
of
can't have your
you
cake
can't have your
and
cake
eat it
and eat
is
it
that sometimes
is that
you have
sometimes
to choose
you have to
between
choose
having one
between
thing
having one
or
thing
another thing
or another thing.
because you cannot have
You cannot have
because you cannot
because
have
you cannot have
everything you want.
everything you want.
Very good. Are you the kind of person who puts home comforts before everything else? Are you the kind of person who puts home comforts before everything else? Yes or no?
Yes.
I'm the kind of
I'm the
person
kind
of
of the
person
person
who puts home comforts
who put home comfort
before everything else.
before everything else.
Why? Why? Because I can't live
Because I can't live
without my comforts.
without my comfort.
Regid, what do you do when you want to relax? What do you do when you want to relax? When I want to
When I
relax,
want to relax,
I
I relax.
uh, want to
うーん、
watch a movie, go to the hot spring.
go to the hot spring.
Very good. If you could be in the audience at any concert, who would you like to see? If you could be in the audience at any concert, who would you like to see? If I could be
If I
in
could
the
be
audience
in the
at
audience
any concert,
at any
I'd like to
concert,
see
I'd like to see, I'd like to see
which band
X
or
Japan?
singer? X Japan. Very good. Okay. What's the most common way to move liquid or gas from one place to another? What's the most common way to move liquid or gas from one place to another? The most common way
The most common
to
way
move liquid
to
or
move
gas
liquid or gas
from one place
from one
to
place
another
to
is
another
through a pipe.
is through a pipe.
Reggie, can you see any pipes in your room? Can you see any pipes in your room? Yes or no?
Yes,
I can see
I can
a
see
pipe in my room.
a pipe in my room.
Reggie, do you know anyone who smokes a pipe? Do you know anyone who smokes a pipe? Yes or no?
No,
I don't know anyone
I don't know
who
anyone
smokes a pipe.
who smokes a pipe.
Reggie, what's the use of a chimney? What's the use of a chimney? The use
The use
of a chimney
of a chimney
is to carry the smoke.
is to carry to
The
smoke
smoke
the
from a
smoke
fire
from a fire
out of a building
out of a building
and into the air.
and into the air.
Reggie, give me a sentence showing the two meanings of the word cry. Give me sentences showing the two meanings of the word cry, please. The film
The
was
film
so sad
was so
that
sad
the girl cried
that the girl cried
the whole time.
the whole time.
Be careful
Be
how you cross
careful
the road.
how you cross the road.
The child's mother cried.
The child mothers cried.
Very good. What's the difference between the present perfect and the past simple? What's the difference between the present perfect and the past simple? The difference between
The difference
the
between
present perfect
the present perfect
and the past simple
and the past
is
simple
that we use
is that we
the
use
present perfect
the present
when
perfect
we are thinking about
when we are thinking about
time before
time before
and up to now,
and up to now,
whereas we use
whereas we
the
use
past simple
the past
when
simple
we are thinking
when we are thinking
about a
about
specific
the
pastime.
specific past time.
Give me an example of each. Give me an example of each, please. I have been here
I have been here
for 20 minutes.
for 20 minutes.
I arrived here
I arrived here
20 minutes ago.
20 minutes ago.
Very good. Why do we say I ate eggs for breakfast today and not I have eaten eggs for breakfast today? Why do we say I ate eggs for breakfast today and not I have eaten eggs for breakfast today? We say
We say
I ate eggs
I ate eggs
for breakfast today
for breakfast today
and not
and not
I have eaten eggs
I have eaten eggs
for breakfast today
for breakfast today
because we are
because
thinking about
we are thinking
what
about
happened
what happened
at a specific
at a specific
pastime,
past time,
breakfast time.
breakfast time.
We are not thinking
You are not thinking
about now.
about now.
Megan, which of these two sentences is correct? John got up quite late today, or John has got up quite late today. Which of these two sentences is correct? John got up quite late today, or John has got up quite late today. Of those two
Of
sentences,
those two sentences,
John got up
John
quite
got
late
up
today is
quite late
correct.
today is correct
Why? Why? Because we are
because
thinking about
we are thinking
what
about
happened
what
at
happened
a specific
at a
past time,
specific past time,
the time when John got
the
up.
time when John got up.
Very good. Did you have a big breakfast today? Did you have a big breakfast today? Yes or no?
No,
I didn't have
I didn't have
a big breakfast today.
a big breakfast today.
Right, what time did you come here today? What time did you come here today? I came
What time?
here at
I came here at 9:30
a.m.
a.m.
today.
today.
Very good. What does the idiom let someone down mean? What does the idiom let someone down mean? The
So
idiom
the idiom
let someone down
let someone
means
down
fail
means
someone who
feel
is
someone
depending on us.
who is depending on us.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. Everyone was
Everyone
depending on him,
was depending on him,
but he let them down.
but let
But
he
but he let them down
but he let him down
by not keeping
by not keeping
his promise.
its promise.
Very good. Okay. Next. Give me some examples of adverbs of frequency. Give me some examples of adverbs of frequency, please. Some examples
Some
of
examples
adverbs
of
of
adverbs
frequency
of frequency
are never,
are
rarely,
never, rarely,
occasionally,
occasionally,
sometimes, often,
sometimes,
usually,
often, usually,
and always.
and always.
Where do these adverbs normally go? Where do these adverbs normally go? These adverbs
These
normally
adverbs
go
normally
after
go
the first
after the first
auxiliary verb.
auxiliary verb.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. We had never seen
We had never
that
seen
film before.
that film before.
It was shown
It was
on
shown
television.
on television.
Very good. Put the word usually in this sentence. He can answer his questions. Put the word usually in this sentence, please. He can answer his question. He can usually
He can usually
answer his questions.
answer his questions.
Very good. Put the word always in this sentence. We spend the Christmas holiday with our family. Put the word always in this sentence, please. We spend the Christmas holidays with our family. We always spend
We always
the
spend
Christmas holidays
the Christmas
with
holidays
our family.
with our family.
Put the word often in this sentence. They don't go swimming. Put the word often in this sentence, please. They don't go swimming. They don't often
They don't
go swimming.
often go swimming.
Very good. Put the word also in this sentence. You must study in class and you must practice your English outside the lesson. Put the word also in this sentence, please. You must study in class and you must practice your English outside the lesson. You must study
You
in
must
class
study in
and
class,
you must also
and you must
practice
also
your English
practice your English
outside the lesson.
outside the lesson.
Very good. Put the word even in this sentence, please. I can't boil an egg. Put the word even in this sentence, please. I can't boil an egg. I can't
I can
even boil an egg.
even boil an egg.
Very good. How can oil be transported from one part of the country to another? How can oil be transported from one part of a country to another? Oil can
Oil
be transported
can be transported
from one part
from one
of a
part
country to
of a
another
country to
on
another
lorries
on
or
lorries
through very
or
big pipes or
through
through very big
big
pipes.
pipe, very big pipe.
Where is oil used a lot in cooking in your country? Is oil used a lot in cooking in your country? Yes or no?
Yes,
Oils used a lot
oils used a lot
in my country.
in my country.
Very good. Okay. What is the verb and the noun of the adjective hot? What is the verb and the noun of the adjective hot? the verb,
the
and
verb,
the noun
and the noun
for the adjective. Hot
for the adjective hot
is heat.
is heat.
Greg, do you prefer the heat of the summer rather than the cold of the winter? Do you prefer the heat of the summer rather than the cold of the winter? Yes or no?
Eh, no, yes,
I prefer
I
the
prefer
heat of the summer
the heat of the summer
rather than
rather than
the cold of the winter.
the cold of the winter.
Why? Why? Because?
Because
Why do you prefer
because
summer
uh,
than winter?
uh, I
I
get
can. I get.
I get sometimes cold in winter
Well, because I
because
sometimes feel cold
I sometimes feel cold
in winter.
in winter.
Very good. How is your room heated? How is your room heated? My room
My room
is heated by
is heated by
uh, central heating.
uh, yeah, central heating.
In your country, which is cheaper, central heating or electric fires? In your country, which is cheaper, central heating or electric fires? In my
Mm.
country,
In my country,
central heating
uh, central
is
heating
cheaper than
is cheaper than
electric fires.
electric fires.
Very good. When you lack sufficient money to buy something, do you wait and save the money or do you buy it on credit? When you lack sufficient money to buy something, do you wait
I-
and save the money or do you buy it on credit? When I lack
When I lack
sufficient money
sufficient money
to buy something,
to buy something,
I
I
buy
I
it on credit
I
or save the money.
credit. I
I buy it on
buy
credit.
it on credit.
Why? Why do you buy it on credit?
Because why? Because
Because
く、び、クレジッ
because
ト、
because
クレジット is なんだろう、クレジット is how to say useful
useful. Very good. Because credit
because credit
is useful.
is useful.
Very good. What do you think your town is lacking in more than anything else? What do you think your town is lacking in more than anything else? I think my
I
town
think my
is
town
lacking in
is lacking in young
people
young people
more than anything
more than
else.
anything else.
Is there a serious lack of food in some countries in the world? Is there a serious lack of food in some countries in the world? Yes, there's
Yes,
a serious
there's a
lack
serious
of food
lack of food
in some countries
in some
in the
countries
world.
in the world.
Very good. Who's your neighbor in this classroom? Who's your neighbor in this classroom? Nobody's my
Nobody's
neighbor
my neighbor
in this classroom.
in this classroom.
Very good. Why do you think it is that some people just don't get on well with their next door neighbors? Why do you think it is that some people just don't get on well with their next door neighbors? I think the
I
reason
think the
that
reason
some people
that some people
just don't
just don't
get on well
get get on well
with their next door neighbors
with their next door
is that
neighbors
we can
is
choose
that we can choose
our friends
our friend
but cannot choose
but cannot
our
choose
neighbors.
our neighbors.
Ricky, do you ever go to a neighboring town to do some shopping? Do you ever go to a neighboring town to do some shopping? Yes or no?
Yes,
I sometimes go
I sometimes go
to a neighboring town
to a neighboring town
to do some shopping.
to do some shopping
Why? Why? Because they
because
have
they have
bigger shopping mall.
bigger shopping mall.
Ragged. Which do you think is the most pleasant neighborhood in your town? Which do you think is the most pleasant neighborhood in your town? I think
I
my
think
neighborhood
my neighborhood
is the most pleasant
is the most present
neighborhood in my town.
neighborhood in my town.
Ragged, are there quite a few shops in the neighborhood of your house? Are there quite a few shops in the neighborhood of your home? Yes or no?
Yes,
There are quite
there are
a
quite
few shops
a few shops
in the neighborhood
in the
of
neighborhood
my home.
of my home.
Very good. What's the name of the holy book for Christians? What's the name of the holy book for Christians? The name
The name
of the holy book
of the holy
for
book
Christians
for
is the
Christians
Bible.
is a
Is the
Bible.
Bible.
It's the Bible.
Very good. Why do soldiers march? Why do soldiers
Why do
march? Soldiers march
soldiers march?
because marching
Because marching
helps maintain order,
helps maintain order,
and also because
and also
it's
because
faster
it's faster
and less tiring.
and less tiring.
Very good. Which do you think was the bloodiest battle in history? Which do you think it was the bloodiest battle in history? I think
I
the
think
Battle
the Battle
of Stalingrad
of Stalingrad
was the bloodiest battle,
was the bad, bad,
bl-
hmm? bad,
bloodiest battle
bloodiest battle
in history.
in history.
Wait, who do you think is the most wicked person alive today? Who do you think is the most wicked person alive today? I think
I think, I
like the baddest
think
person, wicked.
baddest person.
Let's say I think Mr. X
Mr. X. Yeah,
is the
I think
most
Mr. X is the most
wicked person
wicked person
alive today.
alive today.
Very good. Do you think parents should teach their children about the importance of being honest? Do you think parents should teach their children about the importance of being honest? Yes, I think
Yes,
parents
I think
should
parents
teach their
to
children
teach their children
about the importance
about the importance
of being honest.
of being honest.
Very good. What do you do with clothes that you don't wear anymore? What do you do with clothes that you don't wear anymore? I give
I
away clothes
keep away
that
clothes
I don't wear
that I don't wear
anymore.
anymore.
Very good. Are dogs very faithful to their owners? Are dogs very faithful to their owners? Yes, dogs
Yes,
are
dogs are
very faithful
very faithful
to their owners.
to their
Where
owners.
is it easier to grow food on a plane than on a mountain? Is it easier to grow food on a plane than on a mountain? Yes, it's
Yes,
easier
it's
to
easier
grow food
to grow food
on a plane
on a plane
than on a mountain.
than on a mountain.
Why? Why? Because
Because why? Because
the earth on a
they
plane
are on a plane
is usually
is usually
deeper and richer.
deeper and richer.
Very good. Was food 1,000 years ago generally plainer than it is now? Was food 1,000 years ago generally plainer than it is now? Yes or no? Yes.
Yes,
Food
food
1,000 years ago
1,000 years ago
are generally plainer
are generally
than
plainer
it is now.
than it is now.
Do you have more of a taste for plain clothes or for colorful clothes? Do you have more of a taste for plain clothes or for colorful
Plain
clothes?
clothes.
I have more
I have
of
more
a taste
of a taste
for
for plain clothes
than colorful
than
clothes.
colorful clothes.
Well, what kind of work does a plainclothes policeman do? What kind of work does a plainclothes policeman do? A plainclothes
A plain
policeman
clothes policeman
does detective work.
does detective
The
work.
kind of work
The kind of
a
work
policeman in
a
uniform
policeman in
could
uniform
not do
could not do
because he would be
because he would be
too noticeable.
too noticeable.
Now, would you like to be a plainclothes policeman? Would you like to be a plainclothes policeman? Yes or no?
Yes,
I'd like to be
I'd like to
a plainclothes
be a plainclothes
policeman.
policeman.
Do you think that life is easier when people speak plainly to each other? They speak openly, directly, and honestly to each other. Do you think life is easier when people speak plainly to each other? That is, speak openly, directly, and honestly to each other. Yes, I think
Yes,
life
I think life
would be easier
would be easier
if people speak. Okay,
if people
but
speak.
we
Okay.
stop there for today, Sinji. But very good
Okay.
practice for today.